morning, good life. You're listening to Detail Therapy, episode 65. Whether I'm running a successful business on my iPhone while in first class to my next speaking engagement, sending hilarious photos and GIFs to my friends to recap what we thought about The Bachelor, or typing away at my standing desk on my 4K iMac, I am running my life and career on digital tools. I love them. I love to hate them. They're practically family. In this episode of Detail Therapy, I'm sharing my favorite digital tools that help me go after the life I want.
She's an award-winning YouTuber and best-selling author obsessed with helping you go after the life you want.
I like it.
Join her as she seeks out the stories and strategies.
Give me every little detail.
Of extraordinary people who found success.
I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God.
Welcome to Detail Therapy with Amy Landino.
We live in a time when we can make almost anything happen thanks to an internet connection and some of the most amazing software to ever hit the palm of your hand. Since we are all doing so much with our devices to create a life on our terms, I want to share the digital places I spend the most time in and why they are making a difference for me. Here are the details we are going to be digging into, where I do all of my brain dumping when I'm not using my bullet journal. I'm even using this application to read my podcast notes as I currently speak. Where my team and I do all of our project management and communications, how I keep track of all the people I've met in the last 10 years of networking in my career, where my schedule lives, how I create beautiful images on the fly, and so many more digital places. Before we get into it, for those of you who are new to the show, my name is Amy Landino, and I will be your host. You can think of me as your number one productive lifestyle coach. I'm the founder of Gatlu House, a media company dedicated to helping you go after the life you want. In addition to this podcast, we produce the award-winning YouTube series, AMYTV, of which I am also the host. I've authored 2 best-selling books, including Good Morning, Good Life, which is now available on Amazon. Links to everything I mentioned will be in the show notes at detailspodcast.com. Very excited for this episode. You know, I love a good actionable piece of content, and this is like content within content within content. Like, it's a podcast about all the things that I use that help me to create in so many ways, whether it's to build relationships or to just create something on the internet, which is so exciting. Lots of stuff to go over. Before I jump in, I also want to mention that there are 2 podcast episodes this week. Episode 65 is coming at you this Thursday. And let me tell you, it is such a good one. I sat down with a friend of mine. Many of you probably know him. You may have heard of him because I've talked about his book in the past, but somebody who is very popular online for helping you develop great habits. And that is my friend James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. He will be on the show this Thursday. So make sure you are subscribed and you've got those notifications turned on because you're not going to want to miss this episode. I really got into the details with him. I really wanted to know, like, where are you spending your time? What digital tools are you using? How do you organize it? So if you really are interested in this episode, I think you're very much going to enjoy that one as well. So just a heads up. Let's get into it. My favorite digital tools. There's a lot to go over here, lots of rhymes, lots of reasons. I have got, what does it look like here? Well, I've got 20. I've got 20 of my favorite digital tools to share with you. Who knows? I might even think of more of them as we go along because, man, I spend my time digitally a lot. I have a lot of cool things I do in real life too, but it's fun to be able to make things happen in the palm of your hand, in the laptop on your table, in your desktop computer, in something that gives you life as a digital creator. I'm so into it. I don't know if I'm the only one that says that passionate about the internet as, others, but that's just who I am. Here are my favorite digital tools. Tool number one, the one I'm actually looking at this moment, as I told you earlier, is for note taking. And I have fallen in and out of love with this tool, let me tell you. There was a period of time where not only was it on shaky ground from an ownership perspective, like if you're looking behind the scenes when it comes to these apps, we didn't even know if it was going to get sold, if somebody was going to buy it, if it was just going to fold altogether and not exist anymore, but it's been around a long time. And also, in that same moment, I would use it and it wouldn't always be syncing. I think all of these issues have been worked out and I still haven't found anything that makes the most sense to me as a digital note taker and a digital note keeper, and that is Evernote. I am finding that I am in it all the time now. It started over the summer. I was reading a book and it was kind of getting me excited. If you saw my announcement recently, my big news that I was holding back for a while was that we bought a house. So over the summer, as I was thinking about, potential home ownership, I was reading up on, hostess with the mostest kind of tips and interior decorating and stuff like that. And the books I was reading, I really wanted to start keeping the thoughts and the notes that I was making somewhere and start organizing them a lot better so that I could actually find them. And so I decided to give Evernote another shot at that point. And ever since then, it's grown back into a place I'm taking notes for business and for content creation and things of that sort. I actually recently did a co-webinar, a little training with my friend Steve Dotto, who is an amazing productivity YouTuber. And he taught a couple friends of mine, if you're on my email list, you may have gotten a notice about Evernote, and he really helps you zero in on how to use it right. We get so preparation purgatory about our organization. I mean, if you know that term and you've never heard it before, it's because you feel the feels, right? We over prep, we over plan, we over categorize, and then we don't actually use the things that we have effectively or execute on the plans that we make. And that is something that can absolutely happen with Evernote. Over categorizing, over worrying about the way things are. Look, if you just start using it to store your digital notes, your digital resources, things you want to be able to find in the future, and all you got to do is punch in a couple terms in the search bar and this thing's got your back, it is a great tool. I think the biggest thing that Steve taught this group that we all have to remember is that using the notebooks, we can get overzealous with them. Just create the notes. Just create the notes. Don't worry about categorizing them yet. Just create the notes, because the more you use it, the more you'll need to categorize it. But if you're just storing things and never using them, you don't need to waste your time with an organization system. So loved that tip. I will link to Steve and his training and all of that so you can check that out if that's of interest to you. But I am fully immersed in Evernote again. I use the little web clipper when I am on a browser so that I can save things on the fly and, just keeping things efficient as much as possible. I know that if I want this tool to work for me as a note-taking note keeper, then I have to use it so that I know I put it somewhere. There can only be one place that is somewhere, not a million places, and all I have to do is pop a couple terms in the search bar. That's really, really important to me. So Evernote has been working a lot better for me. I find myself in the desktop app the most, but I'm searching for things in the mobile app also, and I'm making quick notes on the fly, on the go in the mobile app as well. This is a free app, but I do believe that they max you out on the number of platforms you can be on with one login at all times. So if you think you need more than 2 places to have your Evernote, then you might want to invest in the paid, but I would definitely give it a try first before you start paying for it. I pay for it now because it is so natural to my workflow, and I pay for it on an annual basis so that I can keep costs down. But you want to be a user of it first. Don't worry about paying for it until you're really feeling the need to pay the fee because you're using it so much. So definitely a big fan of Evernote. Just because it's top of mind, and we just did this training recently with Steve, he gave great advice when it came to Evernote versus some other tools. There's really not another one that is fantastic from a archiving standpoint. I really think that that is where Evernote stands out, where other tools are probably good from like a project management standpoint or a workflow standpoint or a processes standpoint. If you're just looking for a place to be the database for all your ideas, maybe you come up with a content idea, you need to put them all in one place and keep building and building and building the notes. This is something that I highly recommend. It's been working great for me. I have some notes in my Evernote that are like, if you printed them out, probably 10 or 15 pages long. And that's what's really cool about it is you can keep adding to concepts and make it better and better and better instead of having 50 million notes all over the place. Loving Evernote. Okay, that was a long time to talk about number one, but that is number one. Okay, but this next section of the list has to do with a lot of business communication, and each of these platforms has their own role in my communication, in who I'm talking to, what we're talking about, etc. Number two is Trello. Trello is where I spend a lot of time with my team. So this is a place we specifically go for project management. There are other tools that we use for communication. I'll go through those next, but this one is where we specifically go. If Amy needs to do something or if anybody needs to do something, they are given an assignment. It needs to be tracked in Trello. We have multiple boards that have different rhymes or reasons, a lot of different boards for different platforms when it comes to a content creation standpoint. So we will have a YouTube board and we will have an Instagram board and we will have a blog board, etc., a podcast board. Of course, there is a board and a card about this very podcast that I'm doing right now. So anything that has to be done needs to be in that project manager. And we will have a little bit of conversation there, working through some details, stuff that really needs to be kept track of in the future, especially projects that tend to happen a lot, like a podcast happens every week, sometimes more. So there's a lot of processes that tend to replicate. It's important to track that in a project manager, and that's the one that we've chosen. For internal communication, that has less applicable things that must be done and need to be checked off, and more just clarification purposes and conversations around ideas that aren't necessarily a task yet. That is what we use Slack for. The thing that's really important to me with Slack that I tell everybody that is full-time on my team and is involved in the Trello process is that if I need to do something, do not Slack it to me. If you Slack it to me, I'm going to quickly follow up with you that you need to put it in Trello, because it's a lot harder for me to check these more conversational tools like text messages or Slack for things I needed to get done, because it's so easy to lose track of them. Once you read a message, the message is gone. And so I will absolutely forget to do that thing. A project is a project, a task is a task. It needs to go in the right place. But we can have communications in the meantime that clarify those things so that I don't forget to do them in the future, or little details about doing them in the future. But if I have to do the thing and you're holding me accountable on the thing, Slack ain't the place. But we love Slack from just touching base with people, making sure that they are heard for the reasons that they need to be. My fourth favorite digital tool is, of course, if we've already got project management, we've got internal communication, we need external communication. And the majority of the time, from a business standpoint, this happens in Gmail. I have been given such a hard time by all my dear colleagues and friends for how many email addresses I have. But here's the thing, y'all. I love Gmail so much. I only check one email platform ever for the last 15 years. And it's my personal Gmail, and all of the other email addresses that I've created, the @AmyLandinos, the @VlogBosses, the @SavvySexySocials.coms at one point, I have so many email addresses, but they all get forwarded to the same place and I can manage everything in one spot. I absolutely love Gmail. I don't like using Gmail as a task box, but it does help to become a part of the filtration process, because obviously people email you, they need something, they want something, and it starts to become a task. That's not where I'm going to manage it, but I do start sorting at that level. I reply to things that don't need to be done or that I can easily say no to. I archive things that I don't need to see anymore. I'm a big archiver in Gmail. I don't delete anything unless I know it's super spam. I'll delete my spam folder, but I really love the fact that I could literally go back to my Gmail and search by any term and find an email from 2000. Oh God, what year is it? I could search all the way back to 2006. And I would be able to find something. That just makes me happy. I don't know why. I love it. I'm a super archiver. Even all my shopping emails. I could tell you what sale you were doing in 2006. How you like me? Anyway, so external communication happens there. But when my team gets copied on emails and things happen, they know that everything needs to be moved to Trello when it needs to become a task, because that is where our project manager is. And if they need to ask me any questions about it that are not super relevant to the task card, we can talk about it in Slack. Number 5 is contactually. Contactually, I've talked about this a number of times. I have kind of left contactually a couple times and come back to it. It's just by far the best contact management tool I've ever encountered. And let me put it another way. The best I've encountered that I've actually used and that will be user friendly and not completely too many options and tools and buttons and things that would make the average person have a hard time tracking their contacts. So I can keep track of everyone I've met in my career, all the business cards I've grabbed, all the people I've talked to, I talk to on social, all the conversation from social media gets pulled in, emails I've sent, tasks I've applied, everything's in contactually. And the reason this one continues to be the reigning champion of the world is that contactually will email me and give me a dashboard of people that I haven't talked to in a while that I can refresh a conversation with. This is by far and away one of the most important things when you are building a network of connections and friends and potential deals, leads, clients, opportunities. It is so important that you do not discount someone who could potentially get you somewhere you want to be in the life that you want. But the only way to do that is to continue to build a real relationship with them. I'm not looking at contactually as a list of people I can pitch today. I'm looking at contactually for a list of people that I would consider my acquaintance, my connection, and based on a timeline that I've assigned them, I need to touch base with them if I haven't talked to them in a while. And it can be really simple. And doing this, especially as an introvert, is so important because you practice the thing that you are fearful of, which is having to talk to people all the time or having to make small talk or having to get outside of your box. Just simply check in with somebody, see what you can do, see how you can help them, see how you can make them feel good today. Can you keep track of birthdays? Can you keep track of occasions? Can you keep track of your own friendiversary? Who cares? Give yourself a reason to constantly stay in touch with somebody so you are top of mind, so that someday if you're looking for a job or you're looking to build out your clientele or you just want somebody to go to a show with that would appreciate it with you, you have that database. Now, I will also say that contactually still is priced somewhat for business professionals versus the average person, but it is not at the level of being a small business that needs to significantly track leads. I still think it could be manageable if you are taking being a connector very seriously. My next favorite tool, no shock whatsoever to anybody who knows me really well. It is where my schedule lives. It is where I read what my life is going to be like, what it's going to be like today. I mean, like, this is a space I spend a lot of time in, and that is Google Calendar. I am a calendar blocker, time batcher, planner type, and everything I need to do needs to be on the calendar. Even if it's a task and it's in Trello and it's all listed there, anything that's a task eventually needs to be given a time slot, and that goes on the calendar. So not only do I have appointments and time with family, and I even have my morning routine and what time I need to go to bed on my calendar, the tasks I have to get done have to get on there as well. So I will not go on for days about this. Google Calendar is just my choice because it's so simple and easy to use when I'm a G Suite user. Google is a lot of our business and it's a lot of my life. I've just been on it for a very long time, but I can't do my scheduling on a paper planner. There's just too many moving pieces, too many people to connect with, and too many reschedules. So it just does not make any sense whatsoever to not be completely digital with my calendar, which is why Google Calendar is my best friend. Don't tell my best friend I said that. Number 7 is for file sharing. And like I said, I'll make this one quick because I basically already talked about it. Google Drive. My team and I are using Google Drive for the most part. I used to be a really big fan of Box, and I still have quite a few files in Box. I was never a Dropbox fan. Dropbox drives me absolutely crazy. No matter how many times I am only using Dropbox because somebody else invited me to it, somehow, some way, I find myself in a situation where Dropbox is trying to charge me money. And I have paid too much money into Dropbox. that I did not intentionally need to pay. I never started an account with you, Dropbox. Why do you keep needing my money for me to get my files? I don't understand it. It's so annoying. If I can stay away from Dropbox, I do. I do enjoy Box. It's very simple. It's been great for a file sharing service for to give people external links to things. But for the most part, my team and I are hanging out in Google Drive from a file sharing situation, just because it gets confusing when you're in too many places. And Box was more of a place that I was in before I had a team, and it just didn't make sense to build that out for all of us when we were spending a lot of time in Google. So Google Drive's the spot. Sorry if that was confusing. I could talk about file sharing all day long because, girl, I'm a video creator and files are a situation over here. Number 8, for visualization and inspiration, this both has to do with brand and content, but homeowner life and designing my home to look the way I want it to. Pinterest, baby. I don't know. I don't know why I don't create more content for Pinterest. I love what I find on there. I'm constantly repinning things. Lots of my stuff is totally private because I just keep it to my little self. I play on my Pinterest board on my iPad in front of the TV when my husband's watching a show that I don't care about. And I love, love, love Pinterest. But I just think it's like, why would I create a vision board? Although, should I create a vision board? I've been thinking about doing a vision board video for AMYTV. But why would I create a vision board when you have Pinterest? It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. So that's how I feel about that. Number 9 is all about more visuals, something that I'm very passionate about and have to do frequently, and that is photo editing and quick graphic design. We live in an amazing world where you can create something visually compelling to teach people what you want them to know and what they want to know with really, really user-friendly tools, and ones we can afford at that. And that is PicMonkey for me. Full disclosure, and quite frankly, I probably should have given full disclosure on a few of these, but nothing about this episode is sponsored, but there have been times where I've worked with PicMonkey in the past because I love them. I have been using PicMonkey since before it was cool. Like now it's like everyone's like, oh, what a cute name. Like I used to be on PicMonkey editing and people are like, what are you doing? They have been an OG photo editing service for so long, making it super accessible for people who have no idea what they're doing from a design standpoint. And now they have the ability to make so many different things. Instead of just cropping my photo just right, I can make a business card. I can make a pamphlet. I can make a presentation because they have so many templates you can use. So if you are not a design enthusiast, which I guess I'm an enthusiast, but I am not good at it by any stretch. I need help. I need somebody to give me a template. And that is what I love PicMonkey for. I can make something beautiful and advertise my fun little podcast or my awesome video in just a couple of minutes. They have a web browser application, so you can just go to it from your Google Chrome or your Safari or whatever. And but they also have a mobile app, which is great. So love me a little bit of PicMonkey. Number 10, and this one, I'm not talking about social media until later in this list, so spoiler alert there. But number 10 is a social network that I don't use for social. I use it for the visuals, okay? And let me know on the Detailed Therapy Instagram account if you're with me on this. Snapchat, okay? I love Snapchat. As a matter of fact, should we start having a Snapchat life over here? You know why I love it? Because filters. The filters, the lenses on Snapchat are unprecedented amazing. Like I will be sitting here looking like straight death. For real straight death. And I will open Snapchat and I will think I am a goddess born again because of how these lenses brighten up my face and open up my eyes. And to me, when I'm a content creator who is constantly having to talk to her community and let them know what's going on and ask them what's on their mind, you need a little bit of help sometimes, okay? I'm not going to lie. I look like death right now, but I'm recording a podcast, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. But when you need to get on camera real quick, and especially on Instagram stories, sorry about you, Instagram, your filters don't even come close. I've maybe seen one that I was like, okay, this is dope. I am on Snapchat all the time. I am Snapchatting like crazy. not usually promoting it to Snapchat. I'm downloading the files. Sorry, Snapchat. I am downloading those files and I'm uploading them to my Instagram because that's where the main conversation happens. So if you are ever watching my Instagram and you're like, Amy's talking to the camera, she's clearly using a filter, but I can't find this filter to save my life and Instagram isn't telling me what it is, that's because it's from Snapchat. It's a very, very high likelihood. No matter what Instagram does to try to copy the filters from Snapchat, they just don't come close. So I'm obsessed, but maybe I should start publishing to Snapchat more often because I do feel like I'm a little looser over there. I'm a little bit more chatty. Let me know on Detail Therapy if you're using Snapchat from a social standpoint. I'd be really, really curious to hear. Ironically, please go to the Instagram for Detail Therapy to tell me. Speaking of Instagram, from a logistical standpoint, it's very important that we schedule some things to go out into the world because maybe I created an Instagram, but it's not going to come to you for a couple of weeks. Why would that be? Because some things just don't happen at that exact moment and some things are a surprise. So you need to be able to schedule accordingly. My favorite Instagram scheduler is Planoly. We use this for our clients at the Landino group and we love it for Gatlu House. So Planoly has just been the spot for us for scheduling Instagram posts. I don't tend to schedule Instagram stories so much, but they do have that functionality. I like to do stories very real time because it feels very much like behind the scenes chat. More on that later. But yeah. Planoly is the spot. I spend a lot of time in Planoly planning little photos out. When are they going to go out? What's it going to look like? How's my grid looking? All that kind of stuff. Number 12 is probably no surprise because, you know, we make the videos over here at Gatlu, and that is YouTube Studio. So I am definitely in YouTube a lot, and I'll talk about that later. But the reality is when you are a creator, being able to make adjustments to your content on the fly, push a video out on the fly, especially on your phone or on iPad or something, YouTube Studio is where I spend a lot of time. So if you don't know what YouTube Studio is, it is the app that is the best possible place to be if you are publishing content on YouTube. It's really not necessary for you for any other reason. If you're just a viewer, you would want to stay in YouTube itself. But YouTube Studio is probably very obviously a place I spend a lot of time. Let's get into a little bit of mind stuff. Number 13 is headspace. I've been getting back into my meditation practice a lot more, and I think part of it was just allowing myself to be okay with needing the guidance. I don't mind sitting down for a few minutes and trying to meditate on my own, but I have found that the teachers on Headspace, the app, have been really helpful for me to figure out how to stop judging myself in meditation and do it the right way, meaning do it the way that my mind and my body cooperate and not get too in my head. We are not our thoughts. And I think Headspace and the way they educate people while you're meditating is excellent, and it just makes me feel better as a beginner meditator. So there's so many options out there. I've heard great things about Calm. It's just not one I gravitated toward. So I like Headspace. I also like Insight Timer if you want one that doesn't talk to you, although I think they do have coaches now on Insight Timer. If you just want a little gong to go off and you can meditate for as long as you want and have it wake you up when you're done. Hopefully you're not asleep. That's not the point of meditation. But yeah, I think Insight Timer is nice as well. But I've been spending a lot of time in Headspace lately to get my meditation back on. I am always educating myself in a number of different ways. The apps that probably use the most battery life on my phone are Apple Podcasts because I listen to podcasts constantly. This is the part where you're going to ask me, Amy, what podcasts do you listen to? Well, lately I am super, I don't know if you know this about me. Fun fact, I used to work in politics and fundraising and lobbying. So I'm very much into the American election at the moment. I think it's a very important time for us. So I listen to a lot of news podcasts, specifically the New York Times, The Daily. I also listen to the Tim Ferriss Show. Not going to lie, Tim, I love you so much. You're wonderful. I kind of got bored of your podcast for a little while, but lately it has just been a lot of fun to listen to. Please listen to the Brene Brown episode on Tim Ferriss. So good. Oh my gosh. No, I have an even better one. Which one is it? Listen to the January 30th, The Random Show with Tim Ferriss. The Random Show is when Tim has his friend Kevin Rose on. And if you don't know who Kevin Rose is, he's an entrepreneur and he has been a part of some really, really amazing apps and things. One of my favorites is Zero, which is intermittent fasting. It's an intermittent fasting timer app. He's been a part of that. He has invested in companies like Nextdoor and Medium. And he also founded the news site Dig, which was a really big deal back in the day. So anyway, Kevin Rose has been doing a lot of things for a long time. This episode where they talk about random stuff, but one of the things being sort of how far Tim has come over a period of time, especially since the 4-hour work week days. But they talked on this episode specifically about really interesting questions to ask yourself. And I wrote every single one down because they were such a mind boggle and so compelling. And I just love how Tim has been lately, he's really been bringing the heat with a reflection, mindfulness, like who are you and why are you doing what you're doing standpoint. That's what I'm all about. And I just love how he's pivoting to that a little bit. If I have to make that call for him, I don't know if he would say those words, but that's how it's been feeling to me. I've also been listening to Entrepreneurship Elevated by Mike Michalowicz and The Doctor's Pharmacy by Mark Hyman. Mark Hyman is a fellow Vayner speaker and just love his work. And of course, the tried and true gold mine that is The Skinny Confidential. Love Lauren and Michael Bostic. And hello to Lauren. I hope you're enjoying your maternity leave with little Zaza. So fun. But those are the podcasts I've been listening to. I spend so much time listening to podcasts. But when I'm not, that is for number 15, and that is Audible. Passive book reading is my friend. I have a very ambitious goal of 50 books for 2020. And I'm supposed to be at 15 books to hit my mile marker at the end of March. I am not there. But what is helping me get there is listening to books on Audible. What am I currently listening to? I know what it's called. I just want to make sure I get the author name right. I'm listening to The Sweet Spot, How to Find Your Groove at Home and Work by Christine Carter, PhD. Dr. Carter, thank you so much for this book. It is a lot of fun to listen to. I have about an hour left on it. And pro tip, 1.25x on all things. It depends on the podcast. If you listen to my podcast, I don't know if you want it on 1.25x. Maybe you do. But if you can listen to things a little bit faster when you got a slow talker, especially on Audible. Oh my God, they make you talk so slow on Audible. Anyway, I'm rambling now. Number 16 most visited, fun, fabulous, favorite digital tool is Amazon. I mean, how are you not going to say Amazon? And how is that a digital tool? To me, it's a digital tool. Amazon is a special place where I spend a lot of money. But also, I like to recommend things to people that I love, and that helps to build revenue into my business. So if you have not made a single dollar on the internet yet, this is by far and away your pro tip. The easiest way to make money right now on the internet is to join the Amazon affiliate program. And whenever you recommend something to someone, send them the affiliate link to it on Amazon, not just a normal link, and you will make a cut of the revenue if they buy something. And that has been a really big place for us to be able to continue to build our business very easily. And a lot of times your audience is so happy that you pointed them in the direction of something great. They're very happy for you to get a kickback because it doesn't change anything for them. They don't have to pay more money for that to happen. Amazon just happily pays the people that helps them make money. So that is a lot of fun. And so we spend a lot of time on Amazon curating all the things that we love and recommend. And so we have a little Amazon store. You can see that on the Shine Squad Secrets Instagram. You can also see the things that we love, we being mostly me, but my team will definitely be like, ooh, what do you think about this? I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, put that on Shine Squad Secrets. It's shine.squad.secrets to see what my recommendations are. And you can check out the Amazon affiliate store in the bio. Number 17 is going into my social media kickoff, and that's with YouTube. YouTube is my main social squeeze, okay? It's content, it's social, it's search, it's all the things. So I post a lot of videos on that platform. It's a lot of fun. That's where we have the bulk of our conversations, although I think detail therapy is a very, very close second these days. We are just chatting away here, aren't we? But YouTube is a special place where I can basically feel like I'm sitting there with you, and ideally you feel like you're sitting there with me, and we're looking at each other and we're talking to each other and we're having really important conversations. And so I just spend a lot of time there because not just logistically, I'm posting a lot of videos, but I like to see what everybody else is doing too when I have time to watch. And it's a lot of fun to see where this content and this platform has gone over the years. YouTube is so different than where it was 10 years ago, but there's a lot of it that is similar and the same, and that cadence is still there, and it's just about being more innovative. So it's a lot of fun. Next on the social list, number 18 is Instagram. I think of Instagram as the behind the scenes visuals of what we would do on YouTube if we posted every single thing on YouTube. I try to post so much on Instagram because I feel like it's our outside connection. It's like our chill time outside of our family meetings. Like our family meetings happen on YouTube, but the time that we have fun is on Instagram. And so it's fun on YouTube too, but it's just different. You know what I mean? Number 19 for social is Twitter. I love Twitter so much. I wish it was a different place sometimes because I think it gets so negative and it's really, really hard to use it the way we used to. We really used to connect with people on Twitter. Now we just kind of put things out there and see if they go viral, which is annoying at best. But I still try to share my real thoughts in a way of, if this were a video, what would it look like in about 140 written characters? That's what I think of for Twitter. I like to start conversations there. I like to know what you think. And so I'll share those thoughts, but I also kind of use it from a press release standpoint, just so you know, hey, the video's not coming out, or it's late, or there's a new podcast, or here's what I'm up to today. I just think it's like a really, really quick way to check in. And so I love going in there every morning and saying, good morning, good life, just so that people know that I really do wish that for you every single day. And so that's what Twitter is for me. And number 20, the last one on the list, a place I spend a lot of time, is Patreon for Shine Squad. If you don't know what Patreon is, our Shine Squad is a little membership community. I post weekday podcasts to just kick off your mornings right. We do live streams there. We do little live trainings. I give you advance notice about what the next video is that's coming out. There's a lot of fun stuff happening in Shine Squad. And I feel like it's like that little within reach membership community that I've created, and we just have such a good time, and we elevate each other, and we help each other see that there are people who want us to succeed, and we can do that for each other, and we can lift each other up. So that's what I wanted Shine Squad to be. It's so amazing to see that, because it's not just me creating, it's the people in the group that are creating for each other and talking to each other and encouraging. So much fun. Shine Squad, where are you at? If you're in Shine Squad, please, please, please comment on Detail Therapy and let me know on Instagram so I can see your face and say thank you for joining and being a part of this place. It's so much fun. And if you want to find out more details about that, you can go to patreon.com/AMYTV. Oh my gosh, that was a lot. These are so much my favorite. I definitely got a little too chatty and rambly, but I hope that you're okay with that. I would love to hear where you're spending a lot of time digitally. Pop over to Details Podcast for the 80th time and let me know on my latest Instagram post. Also, just curious, would you like a little bonus audio action from yours truly? Get your free download of my 7 essential steps for going after the life you want right now. All you got to do is go to subscribe to the podcast, screenshot that you have subscribed, and then email that screenshot to hello@detailspodcast.com with audiogram please in the subject line. And then we'll get that audiogram right over to you. No strings attached. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. We'll see you on Thursday for the episode with James Clear. Cheers.